genius baby. It's like it doesn't know anything about the world, but it has the capacity to have like a 180 IQ or whatever it is.
If you take away all the, headaches of having an actual puppy, but getting a really smart puppy, and you can't just yell at it to sit and expect it to sit. Now, a couple times it will. And I think right now I'm just kind of getting to know each other. So
Yep.
I feel like we're on the cusp of something great though.
The fundamental rules of building a profitable, beloved product remain profoundly human. What makes you a human is the deep part of what you're doing. Everyone can build a Notion or a Calendly. Like everyone can build that now with a vibe coding. But what about it makes it special is the human aspect.
Hey, it's the Pioneers Podcast. It's the Pioneers Podcast. It's the Pioneers.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pioneers Podcast. I'm Andrew Moulin here with my co-host, Chad Karotis. We are the AI podcast for non-technical, normal people, founders, whoever you are that you're not that technical. This is the podcast for you. We're going to break down a couple of things today. First and foremost, Chad, how's everything going?
Things are good, Drew. Still, living the dream. It's been an interesting time with OpenClaw, I think. So I've been really trying to dive into that and understand that. And it's been more frustrating than I thought and not as cut and dry.
What about it's not cut and dry? Like, what are a couple of things,
Well,
a couple of snags?
So there's just a lot of opportunity and maybe it's for the better, right? Because you have a lot of opportunity to personalize things and really use it how you want to use it. But really kind of, I think last time I'd kind of touched on some of the issues I was having with Telegram and connecting with Telegram. Now I think it's just really making sure that I'm working with it the best way I can, because I think it's easy for me to forget. I love just firing off real quick at AI. Do this now, do this. The best analogy would be like getting a really smart puppy. If you take away all the, headaches of having an actual puppy, but getting a really smart puppy, and you can't just yell at it to sit and expect it to sit. Now, a couple times it will. And I think right now I'm just kind of getting to know each other. So
Yep.
I feel like we're on the cusp of something great though.
I like that you said that, because literally today I was like, well, sort of what is AI when it comes to, because I've been playing with Claude Skills and I want to talk about that probably next week, but Claude Skills has been amazing. But I always think about it the way that you're saying it. It's like having a very, very smart baby. Like it's like having a genius baby. It's like it doesn't know anything about the world, but it has the capacity to have like a 180 IQ or whatever it is. That's the exact way I've thought about it. But that's good. Hopefully a lot of things coming out from us on OpenClaw. I talked to, sort of segueing in, I did a AI founders meetup with a friend of the podcast, Angus Sewell McCann, and I asked him a question. They asked me a question actually. They said, "Has anyone used OpenClaw for cold outreach?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like we just started doing OpenClaw cold outreach using Instantly." And they're like, "Well, how has it been going?" I was like, "Oh, it didn't really work, but like we tried it and we did it, and it was really cool." And everyone thought we were the coolest thing. So thank you, Chad, for doing that.
And it's cool because it's moving in the right direction. It's truly pioneering new ways to use OpenClaw, because I'm in a lot of the groups and stuff, and it's not, first of all, it's not free to use. Everyone download it for free. Not really. That's what I've come to find out. Just to show a little bit under the hood right now, kind of what we are doing with the Instantly campaign for our outreach is I'm having it go through podcasts like My First Million, through Greg Eisenberg's, reaching out to all of the guests and not just doing some generic, like, saw your episode on My First Million. I think you're great. Do you want to come on our podcast? A lot more bespoke and in-depth. So truly a good cold email, because those are the only good cold emails that work, right? I mean, when have you ever seen the one, the cold email with the brackets? Have you ever responded to one of those? No, absolutely not. There's no really personalization. You hear about personalization, like first name brackets? No, true personalization. And then maybe it's challenging that person's thoughts and just trying to, create a compelling dialogue, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Like, I mean, obviously, I think about it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna invest, $50 here, $50 there, whatever. It obviously adds up. But some companies are investing 380 billion into Claude. It's like okay, our $50 here, $50 there to learn some information. I was thinking about it today. Like there's a company that I was just looking at. I was just watching their content, and they're like, this coming year they're going to be investing tens of millions of dollars in the content. And I'm just like, well, we're on Riverside, so yeah, we're investing heavily. But let's jump in real quick. I think we're going to talk a little bit of contrast here, but the idea is that we will have a full playbook for founders in 2026. That's sort of like been our goal for this first quarter, is like just laying groundwork for 2026 for founders as we move through AI, which is moving so quickly. You can make a prediction in the beginning of January for the end of the year, and it'll be done in January or February. So there's a $25 billion AI arms race going on right now. We're going to talk a little bit of geopolitics. I know Chad loves politics. We're going to talk a little bit of autonomous weapons and the fight for scale. And then we're going to go to the other side of the spectrum and talk about a bootstrap company that I referenced earlier that was on Angus's founder meetup today. So we're going to talk about that as well. But as we jump in, just so everyone knows and is up to date, OpenAI hit 25 billion plus revenue run rate. Somehow still not a profitable company. Don't know how that works.
Is it one of those things like, you know, how you have your own business so you can write things off? Is it one of those things like, oh yeah, no, we're not profitable? Or is it like we are truly bleeding cash? Because to run through that much cash, I mean, it's got energy has to be, that would be really interesting, Drew, to see how, like do they show any public data in that vein?
No, because they're not a public company.
Right.
So they don't have to show anything. And if you don't have to show everything, why would you show it? Yeah. So people like us can talk shit. Like, no, but I think it also goes to the point that like maybe they are trying to go public. I was reading this book and it was talking about how the difference between a private company and a public company. Private company, the goal was to have cash on hand. Like, how much cash can I possibly have on hand so that I can sustain the company? But a public company is all about growth. They don't care about profits. They care about growth. And so it's like, you have 25 billion, you need to spend 26 billion to grow this company so that shareholder value goes up. Because at the end of the day, all you're judged on is shareholder value. That's all you're judged on.
I guess that's true, because public companies obviously have the benefit of like having a piggy bank of liquidity. So that could make sense. I mean, it's just such a foreign concept, but it's also interesting seeing the number of public companies decrease, right? I mean, it's at, I believe, close to an all-time low or an all-time low, which is the amount of companies listed on the NASDAQ. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. So 900 million weekly users. That's crazy. 85 active API models cycling every 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to talk about that here in a second. And then the other company we're going to talk about later on is Tally, and how they just hit $1 million ARR, which is their baseline. They're trying to scale to 3 million. They have 250,000 plus users, 0 institutional capital, and 5 team members. I think this is going to be really interesting. That'll be at the end. That's something we can really dive into. But the whole idea here, and Angus said it best, is like AI is eating everything. Like everything that we knew about execution is being eaten. Like if you're executing a task, AI can do it. The issue comes on the edge cases or the niche knowledge. Understanding exactly your specific industry to the level that you understand is the hard part, right? The fundamental rules of building a profitable, beloved product remain profoundly human. Literally what I just said is like what makes you a human is what is the deep part of what you're doing. Everyone can build a Notion or a Calendly. Like everyone can build that now with vibe coding. But what about it makes it special is the human aspect, and human to human or human to human understanding.
And that plays into different things too, like UI and UX.
Right.
And I think right now, if you were to want to learn a skill, I think really good design is such a good skill to brush up on. And that's something that's going to be harder to replace, because it does require taste. It requires, the observation of human behavior, trends, just these things that humans have proven to be more advanced at so far. Of course, this is a true arms race, but I think design is going to be one of those skills that will yield a lot of dividends.
I heard something interesting the other day. Like, sort of a side note, and I think you'll like this, is like if you look at the AI world, when everything's instituted or implemented and everything is like settled, it's going to look like a barbell. It's going to look like on this side, you're going to have people who are all in on AI, like their business is completely AI, right? With like two, heads of the company that run it as humans, like human in the loop things. And then you have on the other side, people who are like no AI whatsoever, like wellness centers or retreats. Like we always talk about, like absolute no AI whatsoever. They live in the country. The people who are going to get killed, like not actually killed, but like the businesses that
Or
are going to
maybe.
absolutely, or maybe the people who are actually going to get killed is right in the middle. Like I'm not really like, I'm kind of both. And he called it like the Diet Coke. It's like, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I want to do AI a little bit. I want to dabble in it, but I also want to do this. They're the ones that are going to get killed eventually. And I think for me, it's like, which side are you on? And of course, here at the Pioneers Podcast, we're on both sides. We're on both sides. Like we don't have to pick. We're at Pioneers Podcast. We are literally the distribution channel of AI for non-technical users, and we don't have to pick. We're both, but we're not in the middle, though. That's the thing. We're not in the middle. We're both,
Yeah,
but we're not in the
exactly. That's
middle.
where you lost me for a second, but no, absolutely. And I think, to your point, that really is going to become, I mean, this kind of has nothing to do with anything, but like true luxury, right? Kind of that totally simple, off the grid, underspoken, but I
Yeah.
digress.
So let's go through real quick the like geopolitical frenzy that's going on. Okay, the last 48 hours basically. But the trigger happened. Pentagon demands any lawful use for Anthropic's existing $200 million AI contract. Okay, what happens from that is it goes into Anthropic refusing to do this. Right. They demand a ban on massive domestic surveillance and fully autonomous weapons. We've talked about this, and we did this on the Anthropic episode where we went through Anthropic and what it was. They're all about trust. They're all about like protecting the user. And so when the government came in and said, "Hey, we paid you this money. We need data from this," they were like, "No, we're not going to give you data." Right? Specifically surveillance. Okay.
So is
Which
that
we've seen.
just so I understand? The government gave Anthropic $200 million for something. And then the government said, we gave you $200 million. So now you have to give us, like, we own you.
Yeah.
Data, autonomous weapons, stuff like that. And Anthropic is saying, no, that's unethical. Am I tracking so far?
Yeah. So that's why it's in quotations. It's like any lawful use. So basically they're like, hey, we are the government. We make the laws. This is what we want. And Anthropic was basically like, we don't believe in the things that you're trying to accomplish when it comes to autonomous weapons and surveillance. And so they're like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay. So pretty simple. Number 3, the ban came. So Trump administration labels Anthropic a supply chain risk and gives them 6 months to exit.
She's so funny. 6 months to exit. What does that mean?
Basically the government was basically trying to buy Anthropic. I mean,
like eminent domain.
Basically, they were basically trying to say that like they breached their contract or their agreement, and they're trying to take Anthropic away from, Anthropic. Within 48 hours, OpenAI signs a deal with the Pentagon. I mean, I would say you can't make this stuff up, but like you probably could, and they probably have in some dystopian novel or something like that. This is happening. Basically, all this stuff happens. Anthropic's going back and forth with the government, and then 48 hours later, OpenAI signs a contract with the Pentagon. I mean, I don't want to say sellout behavior. But that's just some sellout behavior.
I think everyone's thinking it. And are we Sam Altman fans? Not really. I mean, again, great. I'd rather have dinner. Would you rather, Drew, have dinner with Brian Johnson or Sam Altman? That's a rough dinner regardless, right?
Yeah, but Brian Johnson can give me some like information. He knows some things. Sam Altman, I mean, whatever. We actually should do a whole episode on Sam Altman. I think that'd be sick. I think, where did this guy come from? He come from Y Combinator,
and Clark could be so fun. Just want like evil eyes.
Yeah. It's like literally evil eyes, and then it's us just like running away, and it's just him funny. But yeah, so 48 hours, OpenAI signs a deal with Pentagon, and then ChatGPT uninstalls surge 295% in one day. Claude hit number 1 on the App Store. When you stand for trust and your users, we will back you up. It's that simple. But basically, like, governments are now dictating AI deployment, forcing companies to choose between absolute scale and public trust. That's all you need to know. So that's the 48-hour window. Just to give you even more in depth about like why the heck this even matters. The existing government revenue from OpenAI was zero before the deal. Anthropic was 200 million. So Anthropic on one hand had 200 million in government contracts. OpenAI had zero. Okay. So after the deal was signed, OpenAI had flexible terms, which they later amended, and Anthropic had a hard ban on surveillance and autonomous weapons. So the government was not happy, right? Within 48 hours, OpenAI signed the deal with the Pentagon, and Anthropic accepted a federal ban or blacklisting, which for them is, we live in a society now where I don't really think that matters when it comes to like whether or not the public perceives your product. I think most people actually would rather go with a product that has stood for something and gets blacklisted nowadays than someone who's like, yeah, whatever the government wants, we'll do it for them
Right.
for a price.
100%. 100%. I think it just goes to show right there the public fallout with that 295% spike in uninstalls, the executive resignations, all the things, right?
Yep.
To your point, it is true sellout behavior. And I think opportunistic and sloppy is a really good way to put the optics on OpenAI there.
I mean, and we talked about this in the Anthropic episode, but we'll see if they stand on trust. And so far, with the first obstacle, they're like, no, we're going with trust. Obviously I'm a huge Claude user, and I've been using it like so often this past week, just trying out the skills and stuff like that. And it's getting way better too. Like, the spreadsheets that it makes, and it allows you, instead of, remember back when you had to like do an artifact and like you would make this beautiful spreadsheet and it would have to go as an artifact, and it's like, I can't really download an artifact, whatever. No, you can now download like interactive sheets and stuff like this. It's so sick.
It's pretty incredible how quickly, and rapidly Anthropic is able to roll out these technical innovations truly that I think OpenAI has not been able to match. I mean, of course, we've seen it with Claude Code. We've seen it with Claude Claude and in the skills there, like you said. And it just what you're able to do with it too. I think the use cases and the application is so broad. I'm not sure how good it is at image generation, but in terms of like contracts, documents, it almost kind of reminds me of like Windows, just kind of like business driven, a little more plain Jane, but powerful.
Yeah, no, I love it. But what does this look like for the two founders? It makes Sam Altman look opportunistic and sloppy. No shocker there. Like, this guy is,
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty sloppy of him to basically go to war with Elon Musk and then drive in a Koenigsegg. Like, that's so crazy to me. But
you really need the new PR person, because whoever's doing his PR right now sucks. Maybe he's trying to use ChatGPT to do it, but
right.
Or maybe it should do it because it'd do a better job. The optics are just so bad. He would make such a bad public CEO. If they did go public, they would have to replace him.
Yeah, I don't think he would be the one, or he would probably take them public and then get expunged. But I think the other thing, and then Dario Omadai, literally safety theater, straight up lies, right? So there's two camps of Anthropic when we're looking at them. Is basically, we did this on the episode. The more I look at our episode, the more I realize like we were on point with what we were talking about. But it's either they're faking all this safety stuff, or they are actually trying to be the highest level, safest AI solution. And so far, for me, they are doing all that. They have my trust at current, and they are the safest at current.
What does safe mean to you in this context?
Are you using my information to like surveil me? Not just like seeing what I'm typing on my computer, but like, are you hacking into my not open door? What is it called? It's my Ring doorbell. Are you hacking in my Ring doorbell and you getting my information and you like trying to find my dog, but like you're just using everyone's Ring doorbell to find me? Like, that's where I get too far, where it goes too far for me. from a surveillance side of things, like obviously my TV listens to what I say and like gives me recommendations for toothpaste, like because I said it once. I get that. I understand that that's happening. And like, you can make that sound like, oh, well, we're just trying to show you the products that we think best fit your lifestyle. It's like, okay, I get it. But when you start like tracking me through Ring doorbells, like now we're the UK, and that's just silly. But that's where I draw the line. And for
So it's personal data security is safety to you.
it's not even personal data security, because it's like I don't think anything is secure anymore. I think everything's out there. Like if you've ever once put your social security in on a computer, it's gone. Like you could get your data stolen tomorrow. It's not about that. It's about honestly, it's about physical safety. Like, are you tracking me wherever I go? Are you tracking my wife? Are you tracking my dog? Like, I don't like that. But obviously, we're going to get there at some point. And then, they're going to bring in the drones and all this stuff. Like, it's going to get crazy. And so I just want to make sure that, like, the products that I'm using are high level and easy to use. And then I want to make sure that, like, my data is not being, like, I don't know, dude, honestly. Maybe I don't know what security means. I just want to be physically secure. That's all I care about. Take my social security. I don't care. I just leave me alone physically.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the Anthropic play, right? No one really knows what that means. AI safety, AI security, or that could mean something different to everyone rather. But they do know fear mongering sells, and they will scare the shit out of you to get them, or to get the public on their side. And right now, from an optics PR perspective, I think they are doing a far better job about building, regarding consumer trust, consumer confidence, really brand loyalty, adoption. I mean, Mario is a better CEO. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So basically, to tie this all together, brand trust and AI is now tied directly to geopolitical alignment. It's clear here. As soon as Sam Altman signed that deal, 295% spike in uninstalls, and then the executive resigns. Doesn't look good. And from a public perspective, you can tell what we're looking for. So yeah, that was interesting to me. The macro reality for founders, like how does this relate to you specifically? There's a labor shift, okay? Atlassian, they own a lot of different companies, a lot of AI companies,
Oh, I never
or a
knew
lot of
that's how
AI
you said
products, I
that.
should say. What's that?
Atlassian.
Yeah, I think they founded Loom and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, and I know they have Jira and
Right.
I don't know, a bunch of stuff.
So they laid off 10%, which is 1,600 people, which first of all, that's so many people. 10% is 1,600. You have 16,000 people in maybe. They so they laid off 1,600 people specifically to redirect resources to AI, and they replaced their CTO with 2 AI-focused CTOs. So
They can their CTO.
yeah, they canned them, and then they hired two new ones.
Okay, I thought they were saying they hired 2 AI CTOs.
No.
ATI or AI focused. Okay, I got
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, there's a labor shift going on, obviously. Like there's a lot of layoffs, right? And they're saying it's because of AI. I don't know yet. I don't know if this is actually a good or bad thing. I think that they're doing this. I think they're being incentivized to do this. And if they do this and it doesn't work, I think they'll just hire the people back. I think that's what's going to happen. But what do I know? So then you have the trust gap, 85, and I'll explain this in a second, but 85 active models from OpenAI cycling every 2 to 3 weeks makes scaling into core business workflows difficult for enterprise operators. ROI tracking is falling. What this means is that AI is changing so quickly that people can't even implement it into their business because the model will have changed by like next week, right? So every 2 to 3 weeks. So every 2 to 3 weeks, the model that you're using for your business will change. So how do you implement something that's going to change every 2 to 3 weeks? So people aren't even trusting. That's another reason people aren't trusting OpenAI is because they change so quickly, right? And then the pending leap. So Morgan Stanley warns of a transformative AI leap in half one of 2026. Some company named Yan raises $1 billion for physical world models, okay, which are robots, right? At the end of the day, I think, and this is my opinion, I think robots is going to be a way bigger thing. It's going to change the world way more than AI
More
is.
disruptive.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of these races, all the money going into Anthropic, all the money going into OpenAI, all the chips that are being created and the new chips that are being created by NVIDIA, like all these things are, in my opinion, are just going straight into the robots. And once they go into the robots, like I saw a robot yesterday playing tennis. Like, I mean, we're getting to that point, and it's going to be pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. And it's that J curve adoption, right? Because those compounding abilities and skills are able to just really ramp things up, for lack of better terms.
Right. All of this is basically going to change the labor market. It's going to go from, human beings doing something to AI doing something to robots doing something. And for me, I think, and I said this on the previous podcast, and I want to reiterate it, I think it's very important that first of all, you listen to the podcast, you like, share, and subscribe, share with one person. We do that, we double. The other thing is that you need to learn LLMs first. You need to learn how to talk to these things and understand what is going on in the back end. Not necessarily like super in-depth developer level, but like what is going on in the back end, like we talked about at the beginning. It's like a very, very smart baby, right? So if I'm talking to a very, very smart baby, I just need to talk to it in a way that it better understands what I need and what I need it to output for me, and it will do that. And it's doing that at a very high level now. Once you do that, you're understanding AI so that you're not going to necessarily be left behind, if that makes sense. Meanwhile, in Belgium, there's this company, and we had a very nice chat with them today on the AI founders meetup with a friend of the podcast, Angus Sewell McCann. And the founder is Mary Martins and Philip Menev. Okay. They started out B2B marketing. They didn't have any technical background, which, like a bunch of you don't have technical background. So they started out, previous startup killed by pandemic. So they had a startup. It didn't work because of 2020 and that situation. And so they decided to start something new, right? And the idea was that they didn't like how form builders were currently being done, and they wanted to change that. So their whole idea now is to become the simplest. It's simple. Their pillars are simple, free, and us. Simple being it's the simplest to use, it's the simplest to fill out, it's the simplest design, everything is simple. Then the other one is they're free. You can access their suite of products for free. All of it. Like there's nothing that a premium user gets that a free user doesn't get, except for one thing, except for the branding. Like their brand is on everything, and you pay to get the branding off, basically.
That's
And
kind of
their
clever.
whole idea is that if we give this away, people are going to love it. People are going to use it. And she had a lot of great ideas about why would I limit? So if I have branding on my form, right? If it's the Pioneers Podcast form and I had branding on it, why would I limit how many people could see that?
See that, our
Right.
logo.
Right. But it's like for them, it's
free
like,
marketing,
why
it's
would I?
distribution.
It's free marketing, dude. Like by definition, a form is going to be used by thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So if I have my logo on there, right? If they have their logo on there, the Tally logo, it's Tally.so, Tally logo, and it goes out to tens of thousands of people, then I'm getting my logo in front of tens of thousands of people. They're using our product, right? And so their idea was, why would we put a limit on how many inputs we could have? Why don't we just give them unlimited inputs for free? And you just have to have our logo on there. Brilliant. Oh, and they had zero capital too. We talk about these companies that get like $180 billion injected, and it's like they had zero capital. They never raised a single dollar. Good for them. And their time to launch was, so it took them, I think she said it took them about 6 months to get their first 1,000 users, but they came up with MVP, and they tried to get as many people in there, and they still have the 1,000 users in a like Slack group now. And that Slack group is used for constant discussion, constant feedback. And she says that that's like the lifeblood of the company, is literally that like
Yeah,
Slack
that's pretty
group.
cool. That getting that, I think the feedback from your first 1,000 customers and really retaining it, what that does is it builds ultimate brand loyalty, because now you're getting
Right.
early adopters to not only be an early adopter, but continue to contribute thoughts, ideas, really make them part of the experience. You're getting free beta testers. You're getting market feedback. That's really smart. Getting those first 1,000 users into a Slack group. That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, and I think I mean, that is basically all it is like you're trying to get as many people into a group to tell you what they need. What do you need? And then when they
Right.
tell you what they need, then you create the solution for them. That is the essence of a business, is just creating solutions for specific problems, right? And so she talked about like having an embarrassing MVP, right? So like you have an MVP, if it answers or if it helps one problem that and you don't even have to have a target audience at this point. It's just like, hey, I'm solving this problem. Who has this problem? And people raise their hand. If it's 5 people, it's like, great, here, take this, try it out, see what you like, see what you don't like, and come back. And they're like, oh, it's great, but I wish it did this, and I wish it did this. It's like, cool. Now we iterate and we improve that, right? And so when they had the final version, it couldn't even be published, right? They could only add questions to it. They couldn't even publish it. So it's like they had this broken tool that people were using, and her message was like, you guys need to just get out there and just meet people, basically. You need, hey, try this. Does it work? Oh, it doesn't even work? Well, what doesn't work? What would you like it to do? And then we go and do that, right? So I think a lot of people are on the sidelines not building something when right now is the easiest time to build something, and they're just like overthinking, "Oh, it needs to solve world hunger tomorrow, and it's not able to do that. Let me code some more." And it's like, no, get out there, see if it helps 3 people. If it helps 3 people, great. Ask them why. And I actually heard a cool story. I think you'll like this. It was the founder of Priceline. He was consulting with a company that did they did mounts for your TV, right? So they just manufactured mounts, right? And they're like, listen, we have these 3. He's like, what are you telling customers? Like, what are your 3 main marketing points? And they're like, we're made with airplane grade, military grade steel that is indestructible. We're easy to put up, and we're cost effective, right? Those are the 3 things. He's like, okay, what's the main thing? And he's like, I have no idea what the main thing is. So they went to Walmart, and they just basically camped out, and they sat there, and they were like, people would come up and buy a mount, right? And he was like, well, why did you pick this mount? Why'd you pick my mount over all the other ones? And they're like, if it's airplane military grade,
It's good enough for me.
then it's good enough for my $1,000 TV that I just bought, that I'm afraid it's going to fall off the wall. So he's like, okay, go back to your marketing team. I don't want to hear anything else other than that it's airplane military grade. Like, that's your only marketing platform. And over like the next 6 months, like sales rose 38% or whatever. So same with the MVP. It's like, hey, what do you like about this? And it's like, oh, I really like this. I really like this. I really like this. And same thing happened at PayPal, where they're like, oh, we have all these different features. And they're like, no, I just want to send payments via email. And they're like, oh, well, that's like the easiest thing for us to code. And they're like, yeah, but that's all we want. We don't care about all this other stuff. And they're like, dang, now everyone knows PayPal, right? A little tangent, but you guys get the idea. She talked about doing a bunch of things that are unscalable, and I actually just listened to Harvey AI. I don't know if you've heard of Harvey AI. They're $8 billion company. They're legal AI. They
The
work with
legal one, yeah.
Yeah, they work with the biggest AI firms. Sorry, the biggest law firms in the world, and they were talking about the same thing, like doing the unscalable at the beginning. And she said that she would go on Twitter, she would go on Product Hunt, she would do all these different things and go based on like, and by hand write it all out. And they would create a list of like potential clients or potential customers that they wanted to have, and they would just reach out to them on LinkedIn over and over and over and over again until they got their first 1,000. And it took them like 6 months to do it. And so it's like, that's just at the beginning. Sometimes you just have to do the guerrilla marketing tactics, right?
Yeah, we're trying to bypass that and just get our OpenClaw to do that for us.
Yeah, with OpenClaw can do all that for you. OpenClaw can do the non-scalable. And she wasn't asking for a sale. She was asking for feedback, because it's a free product, right? It's a free product. So
I think
she's going
that's
out there.
Exactly. Kind of getting those early adopters, asking for feedback, or even a referral as opposed to a direct sale is a good way to.
It's like a reciprocity approach. It's like, hey, I'm giving this to you. I know you probably need this. I know you're probably using this somewhere. Are you using forms on your website? Yeah, I am. Well, you can use ours for free. The full gambit of forms, you can use it for free. Would you mind trying it out? It's like, I'm giving you something you don't have to do any work necessarily other than like embed it. And forms is such a hassle too. Like using Typeform is such a hassle. But basically that whole idea is nobody wants to do the unscalable work. It's uncomfortable and slow, but manual labor is what earns you the right to scale. Very good. So let's talk about like their sales cycle. Free forever. That was a bet that they took that allowed users to create a beautiful unlimited form for free. For me, I think that that's like when you have little, uh, I don't mean like little as in the business, but like little products or like widgets. It's like
Micro product.
a form builder. It's like, okay, you can make the best possible form product. And that to me is like a beautiful thing, but it is just that a form at the end of the day, right? But if you have one of those things, it's like just give it to them for free and just put your logo on it. And the reciprocity of like you doing that for free and then having your logo on it, it allows them to like scale. It allows that business to scale through the forms while your logo is getting shown to everyone. I literally found out about Tally because a big influencer used it for his newsletter and I saw it on there. I was like, oh, this is a cool form. And I like literally, that's how I found them. So it's free marketing. And Harvey AI, the CEO, talked about this when he talked about internal virality and external virality. Internal virality, and I'll put it in the scope of a law firm. Internal virality is a law firm that has 14,000 lawyers or attorneys, 14,000 of them. If one attorney gets it or two attorneys get it, then they all get it, right? That's internal virality. External virality is a law firm who does business with a PR firm or, private equity firm. They're like, we're using Harvey AI for all this. And they're like, oh, cool. We should use that for our PE firm. Now that's external virality, right? And so for me, I'm like, the internal virality for Tally would just be, hey, on our website, you fill out the form and all these people, well, external virality, all the people on the form see our logo at the bottom and then they use Tally for their business, right? So that was interesting, internal, external virality. Number 2 was the default tag. Every form includes a small made with Tally badge at the bottom. I literally just explained that because that is what got me on Tally is like, I saw it on someone's newsletter. Frictionless distribution, users share the form with their audience to collect data. So I'm sharing the form and then you have the billboard effect, which respondents see the form, experience the UX and click the tag. And then you have the new acquisition and then you go through it all again. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful feedback loop or a sales cycle, if you will. I don't know how much of that was like genius and how much of that was just like, hey, like, let's just give it away for free because we need more people, right?
Right.
Quick note, users can remove the tag, but most don't. The product funds its own distribution through use, rendering paid marketing obsolete. That's just so beautiful.
Yeah,
From a marketing perspective, that's amazing. The absurdity of lean efficiency. In 2020, when they started the business, they had an MVP that launched. It was a team of 2 people, $0 in funding. Then move over 2021, 16,000 users, 8.5K MRR, team of 2, $0 in funding still. Then 2023, 2 years later, 250,000 users, 100K MRR, team of 3, 0 funding. And then fast forward to last year, 2024 to 2025, $1 million ARR baseline confirmed, scaling toward 3 million, team of 5, 0 funding. In a year when AI companies raised billions to find a business model, Tally built a massive engine with a team smaller than a coffee shop staff. And that's what we're doing with...
It's pretty incredible, and to think it makes a lot of sense why, what was that, Jira's holding company, Adolescent or whatever it's called, why they'd be laying off so many people, because it seems like a lot of these jobs are perhaps redundant or they were the first to go in this AI revolution. They cannibalized almost their own jobs, which it's interesting to see that effect of how lean you can do something with the tools available now. I mean, you saw Elon go into X and lay off 70% of the workforce, and I mean, I haven't noticed any substantial. It still works. So I think we're going to see a lot more of this, of these $1 million micro SaaSes that are just mean and lean. And what a great lifestyle business.
Right. Yeah, Atlassian owns Trello and Loom. So their whole idea is that they build, like, it's all built on collaboration. They make collaboration products. So I thought they own Loom. The idea, like you said, it's like, why did they, and I mean, we said it at the beginning of this podcast. Why do you need $85 billion? And like, how are you using $85 billion and losing money? It's because you hire a bunch of people that you don't need and you become bloated, and then eventually a new CEO comes in, cuts everyone. And I mean, that's just how business is done.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's certainly going to weed out the inefficient.
So let's go through the lessons, and then let's go through the lessons. Let's take our time, go through the lessons. The new constraint is distribution. We talked about this on multiple episodes, that it's not enough to have a wrapper anymore. Like, you could have gotten rich last year, or maybe even the year before that, of building like iCal, where it's literally like ChatGPT hooked up to MyFitnessPal, right?
Yeah.
You could have done that. I don't think that would work now. I don't think that would work anymore. But AI makes writing code and building software incredibly cheap and fast compared to what it was. And it's only going to get cheaper, I believe, and only get faster. But good enough software is now a commodity. So like I said, iCal now is just, if you started building it today, it would not be worth what it was, $85 million. It would not be worth that today. Because building is cheap. Distribution is the only bottleneck. How can I get more people to see this? How can I get virality for my product? You do not earn distribution by automating your outreach. I mean,
We'll see.
yeah, challenge accepted. But you earn it by doing the embarrassingly manual work to win the first 1,000 users by name. Honestly, I'm thinking about it this week. I'm thinking about going into the DMs and being like, hey, subscribe to the pod.
I mean, that would certainly be effective, right? And I think that's where the persistence of that manual labor is going to outlive the consequences of the AI, because I think you're going to be able to do things manually that you can't replace. For example, like, I don't know, I was thinking, maybe if we find someone on Twitter, send them a handwritten card. I mean, it'd be kind of creepy, to find their house. Granted, I promise I could do it. But all that being said, you could still, it's a great way to kind of stand out by doing that manual work. With that being said, I think there's the flip of it, to where if you can do thousands and thousands and thousands of outreaches daily automatically, you get the economies of scale with that. So it'll just be something that, I don't know. I mean, I think we can even test.
Yeah. We're the guinea pigs. We're the pioneers. And I've heard multiple people use the word pioneers recently. And I think that external virality.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
They've clearly heard the pod. Do you know your first 1,000 potential customers by name? If not, what are you waiting for? That's fair. Honestly, it's time. It's time that Pioneer Podcast becomes the number one podcast. I know we're the number one growing podcast. I know that we're growing basically like 800% a month, which is insane. But it's time. And by the end of the year, we will be an award-winning podcast, even if we have to make up the award. Next. Lesson 2, pivot on data, not desperation. I think this is actually a question I asked to the group, and I think it was really good. YouTube starting as a dating app, okay? It's called Tune In Hook
I
Up.
didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah, it was basically a global video host. Slack. Have you seen that video of them in the like in their offices? It's literally like a closet, and they're just like sitting there, and they're just like, I don't know what to like. They're just like crying. It's like, dude, isn't it crazy? If only you knew where you'd be in like 18 months, like this would be fun for you. But Slack used to be a gaming company called Tiny Spec, and then Instagram used to be location check-in called Bourbon, and then went to photo sharing, right? The inside is, none of these were gut feelings. Users showed them what they wanted. So like we're trying to build this podcast in a way that makes sense for the non-technical user. We're going to get to a point where our audience is just like, hey, we love like this type of episode. And that's just what we're going to have to do, right? Because our goal is to build a podcast, the next Disney of AI. No, I've heard a lot of people talk about like the next Disney recently. I'm like, honestly, I agree. Like that would be sick. Building a new Disney would be sick. However, we're actually going to be the Pixar or the Nickelodeon of AI. It's sad that Nickelodeon has such a bad connotation now, but it is what it is. The other side of things is Marie, who is the owner of and founder of Tally, she stayed with Forms despite a broken MVP because early users provided constant validation. She never ran from the discomfort of iteration. We don't need to run from the problems that are being presented to us from our users. That's not the issue. That's where the money's made, is in the problems that we are given by our users. The issue becomes when we're sitting in a room together and we're just like, oh, but wouldn't it be nice to do do something else, like do spreadsheets, not just forms, but like let's do spreadsheets and let's do, documents and folders and all this stuff. It's like, no, we are doing this thing and we're going to do it better than anyone else.
Right.
And that's what we're doing. We're doing
because
podcasting better than anyone else. Even Greg Eisenberg can shove it, because honestly, we are the pioneers of AI. Everyone else is acting like they know everything, but there's nothing there's less. We did this last episode. There's 12% of the population of Earth uses AI. So you can talk about MCPs and ICSs and all this stuff and ASS. Like you can do all this stuff, but we are leading the charge. We are leading into the next frontier, and we have no idea where it's going to take us, but we know that we're going to go together.
Lewis and Clark.
So let's, lesson number 3, loved is the only moat. I love this one because we talked about moats last week, and we're going to talk about here, tolerated. In 2026, generative AI can instantly spin up functional, generic software. Okay, we know this. If your product is merely tolerated because it's functional, you will be replaced by an automated alternative. If you are loved, however, like Tally's free forever bet, it worked because the product was genuinely beautiful and enjoyable to use. When you build a product people actually love, distribution becomes a byproduct. People actively choose to leave the Made with Tally badge on their forms. If Pioneers Podcast made a form, like a form builder, and we had Pioneers Podcast at the bottom, people would willingly leave it there because we provided them something. So their whole business is built on the reciprocity of, hey, we gave you this opportunity to have forms for free. All these other things that you know you need, or like Google Forms, which is not very good. Like we have all these things. We're going to give you the free, we're going to give it to you. We have a better product and it's going to be free forever. People are willing to take that opportunity and leave your badge at the bottom than they would to pay for the product and just to get your badge off there.
And
right?
either way, it's a net positive, right?
Right.
It's a win-win. Either they give you money or they mark it for free. So I think that it's a pretty brilliant way to not only build brand awareness, but brand loyalty and raving fans to really make that product loved.
Exactly. Would your users describe your product as something they love or something they use because they haven't found a replacement yet? I also think that this is like a side note. I think that this is where in-person meetups and in-person, even online meetups are going to be huge, because or virtual meetups, whatever, are going to be big, is because like having the founder and having the face is going to be so important in the coming years, because every product's going to look the same. I promise. Every product's going to look the same. The only differentiator is exactly what we talked about at the beginning, is that human to human contact. Like you said, the taste is going to be huge. So I think that comes into love. Like, yeah, I use this coffee mug, but I don't love it. Like I have other ones, right? But if I knew the founder and there's like my sister made this for me after, walking across the desert and was able to bring it to me, like I'd be like, this is my favorite coffee mug and it could be the same exact mug and I love it.
Yeah.
Right? Story. Yeah. It gives it depth. We need depth. Distribution is going to get you that width. It's going to get you all the people to come in and try your product, but like what makes them stay no matter what. And that to me is what brand is. The automation paradox. Okay. You have the macro trend. So the generative AI, the Morgan Stanley, Atlassian restructuring, that kind of stuff, which is going to drive the cost of creation to zero, right? So it's going to allow us to build products for virtually $0, right? The problem with that is as creation becomes infinite, trust and attention becomes scarce, okay? I mean, I'm going to say that one more time because I think that is like the essence of this whole episode is generative AI is going to drive the cost of creation to zero. We're going to have amazing products that cost people virtually $0. As creation becomes infinite, trust and attention become scarce. So as AI automates the scalable work of building, the uniquely human, unscalable tasks, curation, taste, manual relationship building, and deeply listening to users become the most valuable assets a founder possesses.
I mean, it's a relationship, right? It is all in the relationship, because while AI is able to do a lot of things, what it's not able to do is make that final decision, write the check. So ultimately, the relationships are the moat. It's easier to build solid relationships if you have a good product. If you're going to these online meetups and creating a network of like-minded people, I think the opportunity to create is more abundant than ever. Really, the people who lean into their skill of networking, organic, what's it called, guerrilla marketing, and really just hitting the streets. I mean, it doesn't take money to find someone's email address and cold email them. How effective is that going to be? I don't know. I mean, but figure out a way, to get on someone's radar. If there's someone that's going to move the needle for your product or partnership, I think that's going to be another thing. Is there's going to be so many opportunities for partnerships, and this is where the opportunistic delta really lies. Is as non-technical people, we can pretend to be technical for a little bit before everyone else finds out. So it kind of
Yeah.
gives you an edge to play the best of both worlds and not only be a creator and builder, but also an implementer.
Yeah, I think AI is a tool for immense scale, but you still have to manually earn the right to use it. Again, people are making a lot of products. There's a lot of great products out there that, I mean, what comes to mind all the time is like Lovable, Base 44. Like we can build like legit apps in an afternoon max. If like you want to really get into it and like the UI, UX has to be on point, all that stuff, it'll take you like an afternoon, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's like,
Replit.
yeah, for me, it's like we're going to come to a point where it's like there's going to be like 10 of those, right? So what makes this one better than the other one? It's like, yeah, of course, like they're super funded, but at a certain point, I really think that like someone who has better personality and,
Story.
actually has
It's-
like, yeah, like even give Sam Altman his credit. Like we all know who he is,
Yeah, I mean, if you like spell my name right, but and Replit is doing a really good job as well. They just, Drew, I need to send this to you. They made this video on their YouTube channel, and it's like an hour-long documentary just of them
Yeah.
building Replit Agent, and it was so raw and so real and so good. And it's a type of marketing that makes you want to cheer for them and root for them. And I think that really authentic, organic, face forward, founder driven marketing is going to be really important.
I mean, you know what we should do for the podcast, but also for our AI products is we should just run a marathon and just try to use it while we're on the marathon. Like as we're running,
I
we're
will
like,
let you run the marathon, and I will film you crossing the finish line.
we'll use AI to say that I ran a marathon.
Exactly. And
It's like,
yeah,
look, I ran.
Pioneers podcast.
Right. AI is a tool for immense scale, but you have to manually earn the right to use it. Like nowadays, it's like we always talk about business principles are the same. However, in networking and all that stuff, and like actually having a personality and being a real person is very important. And I think we're setting ourselves up. I can see where we're like gonna merge here, where we have like an influencer who is who's like put as the face or the CEO of the company, because these AI engineers, they're not meant to be like talking to people, and like even Elon Musk is like, you're not meant to be like a talking person. You're supposed to be in the lab making unbelievable products.
Right.
But they're all doing it right now. But I think at some point it's going to be like, hey, who's the most likable person?
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge piece of like, I mean, we saw it at the beginning. It's like,
Well, it's the optic.
why did OpenAI lose so many users in 2 days? Well, because people don't like Sam Altman. It has nothing to obviously the product is inferior to Claude, but it had to do with Sam Altman, right? So if you have a more likable CEO, like just based on that, it's like, okay, less likable, less users. More likable, more users. I'll be someone's CEO. So just a reminder, everyone, YouTube starting as a dating app, Slack started as a gaming channel, and 2 people in Belgium built a 3 million ARR business with a form builder that couldn't even publish a form. Every great product starts embarrassing. The question isn't whether your thing is ready. The question is whether you're willing to find out.
Which is so hard, because as someone who's trying to get people, to use a product, any criticism, I take it so personally. So I'm trying to get better. And I feel like that's not an uncommon thing. Maybe it's an uncommon thing to say, but oh gosh, it is hard just to read some of those and you're like, oh, you. So
Make sure you guys go check out Relto.app. If you're not using Relto and you're a real estate agent, what the heck are you doing? Look at those visuals. The way that AI is about to take off. I posted today, AI is not about to take off. AI has taken off. It's not about to be here. It is here. Now, the next step is robots. And so we can talk about that another
by the
time.
way, Drew, this website, as we know, 100% vibe coded. Now, I mean, I'm hesitant to say vibe coded because this thing it's like truly engineered at this point. But I mean, it's cool because there's a whole back end, admin back end. I'm overbuilding the shit out of it because I don't want to go face that rejection. But in the same breath, I don't know. I think kind of shifting more to an enterprise focus there and just, kind of getting it at scale. But
link in the description. Make sure you guys go check out Relto app. This podcast is sponsored by Relto app, the only place real estate agents should be staging their properties. You guys are still going out to your properties and you're like setting up furniture and you're doing all this stuff, and then it's not the way you want it, and then someone comes in and is like, oh, I can't really see myself in this house because the chairs are all messed up. All that gets taken care of with Relto app, and you guys can sign up right now for a free 14 days using Relto.app, link in the description. Just use code Andrew at checkout. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, we're in a honestly, I look at it, we're in a weird place right now in AI because January, I was looking at it and I was thinking like, oh, okay, I feel like this is going to be like a smooth sailing type of year where we're like just going, AI products are coming out and updates and different whatever. Opus 19.5 is going to come out, all cool. But like we've taken a real
all gas, no brakes.
all gas, no brakes. I mean, and the government getting involved now, and I think it's a real interesting time in AI, and we're only in March, right? So, and it's insane where we're gonna be come December, even come summer, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I think if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, share with one person. We double in size. We're on an 800% growth rate right now per month or per week. Actually, I think per week we went from 8 followers on Instagram to 16 followers. We also we actually surpassed our 20th follower on YouTube, and 20th subscriber on YouTube.
We're going viral.
It's safe to say that we are viral. But I will say the reason for this podcast is to take you guys along this journey, and it has been like a bucking bronco this first 3 months. So make sure you guys are actually strapped in and ready to go, because I can only see it getting crazier. The more crazy it gets, the more crazy it gets. And so I'm really excited to see where the landscape goes. We're well into the journey now. We're well into the expedition. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys leave some comments. We're going to answer some questions on the next episode. Leave those in the comments. I look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon. Chad, thanks for being here.
Absolutely, Drew. Always good to see you.
All right, talk soon.
Hey!